Hi, everyone, and welcome to Techeries. It's a packed show today. Heads up. But we're diving into some game reviews, and you'll want to mark your calendars with upcoming games slated for next week. But everybody, for right now, I'm Morgan, and this is my lovely co-host.
Hey guys, I'm KP. But, I might have a little bit things going on in the background. There's a little puppy running around.
She's not in her normal place today.
No, I'm not. No, I'm still in Texas though, so I haven't left states, unlike someone. Uh,
Okay, okay.
but yeah, there's a little pup running around, and she might want to try to like break free. So we'll see if that happens throughout the show. But we have a lot going on today, like Morgan said. So let's dive into your tech pulse because I will be reading for quite a while.
Yes. Before we transition over into that, though, I just want to say to Latin, thank you so much for the resub now for 20 months. You're amazing.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you. And they say they're always here for the tech news. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into that tech pulse now. All right, guys, starting us off, we had already gotten a big potential leak for 2025, and that was the leak of the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal plan. So the first to report the leak was Nate the Hate, who says that Nintendo allegedly planned to reveal the Switch 2 this week on Thursday, January 16th, which did end up happening. That did happen. It was either an accurate leak or Nintendo's hand got forced and they're like, screw it. Well, I guess I'm doing it anyway. We don't know which one it is, but let's talk about what's up with the Switch 2 and also show you the trailer that came out. But the Switch 2 reveal has actually showed us that it's quite a bit larger than the older model. Like on screen right now, you see the older model, and they will now show you the transition to the new. Though we don't actually have any exact screen dimensions yet. I have read online that people are thinking it might be 7.5 inches for the screen. It has a really nice redesigned kickstand that allows for more adjustability and how you can angle it. The Joy Cons actually will be larger and will snap into place magnetically. And the right Joy-Con actually has a mysterious button. This is interesting because in the video that we're watching right now, the actual like new secret button thing is has nothing on it labeling it. But in like proto photos that they've put out previously, it has a letter C on it. So we'll see what that ends up meaning. But anyway, sadly, we do not have any internal specs just yet. There is a closer look at the Switch 2 that will be happening during the Nintendo Direct presentation that happens on April 2nd, 2025. It does have a release window of 2025, with Nate the Hate also stating that they believe the Nintendo Switch 2 might launch in May or June due to the potential leak. But that's also not all. We have a new Mario Kart that is said to be set for launch with a 3D Mario following in the holiday season of 2025. Also, on the topic of games, Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Mirage, as well as Final Fantasy VII Remake, are reportedly set to be available on the Switch 2 as well. So
Exciting
yeah.
times.
Yeah, crazy times, crazy times. And Len just said Nintendo dropped the reveal while putting up middle fingers towards all the leakers.
Right, exactly. Well, one of the other things that you didn't mention too was the fact that if you looked closely at the video, there's actually two USB-Cs on this one
Yes,
compared
yes,
to
there
the other
is.
one. Yeah, so I don't know what that means per se for us, but it's gonna be interesting. Definitely, because I definitely like for my end, mine's gotten kind of older, so now it's kind of have to constantly be plugged into something, or it
Right.
kind of goes, I have no more juice, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Another thing
So.
is too that I didn't mention, like it will have digital and physical games just like the Nintendo Switch did, and any of like the old Switch model cartridges for their games will be playable on Switch too. So kind of like the, PlayStation 4 to 5 and like the Xbox One to Series X and S. So luckily it will have that backwards compatibility.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign, because then
They're
you feel
kind of
like,
staying with the times.
yeah, like making sure us gamers aren't like really have to go buy another copy of this.
Right, right. I do like the newer design better than the old one. It's more sleek
Yeah.
looking. You can definitely tell with the larger design and everything else. They're definitely trying to push back against, handheld gamer freaking beast right now of the Steam Deck, because that thing's
Right.
honestly better. It's OLED, it has the OLED monitor. Not that this one doesn't, but it's just very interesting to see that their design, in my opinion, definitely is an indicator they're really trying to push back against the Steam Deck.
Well, I mean, yeah. And if there's any other handhelds that come out, later in the year, they're going to have all this competition. So they definitely
Yeah.
have to step up their game. And
I believe it's
I like
Lenovo is
Gamescom.
coming out with one too. Like
So,
I think
yeah.
it was Lenovo that got announced at CES. So, and that's supposed to help rival the Steam Deck. So that just means sorry Nintendo. The Switch 2 better be fucking great.
Be greatness.
But it's good to see that we're finally getting more games being able to be put onto it.
Yeah.
I think that will help the longevity of the Switches.
Mhm.
The more games they get, because think about this, like right now for the Steam Decks, you can get almost any video game out there on your Steam Deck, almost,
Almost.
except for like Nintendo.
Except, the main one,
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah. No big deal. No big deal. But guys, I'm gonna just leave. And I'm kidding. No. KP has a
Well,
really
I need you
awesome.
to do my stuff.
I know. KP has a really awesome, really big segment about one of her favorite video game franchises. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it away, KP.
Okay, well, all you Diablo fans, get ready for a new season to start on Tuesday. This is one that I have been anticipating, and I'm hoping to rope Morgan into and drag her kicking and screaming, and same with Tubby and everybody else that I try to drag into this game. So, and as I get told by Tubby all the time, who still plays this? And I'm like, it's still a game! So this season will be the season of witchcraft, and Diablo has some fun things set for this one. So let me show you the overview of what you're going to see from the new season. And uh-oh. Oh. Whoop. I hear it on TV.
She heard herself.
I know. I was like, what? We're just gonna. There we go. Okay. So here's the overview of what we're going to see from the new season, in which I will go into greater depth on a majority of it. But you can see on here that we're going to have powers, we're going to have the head rotten, head hunts, we're going to get rewards, we're going to have some quality of life updates. So let's start with who we're going to be meeting this season. They are the Witches of Hawazar. The Coven are the protectors of the Tree of Whispers and discovered its many captive heads have gone missing, and the missing heads have been set loose, traveling around Sanctuary looking for bodies and reclaiming what was once theirs. Now, during the season, we will help the Witches of Hawazar unravel the mystery of the missing heads and collect Coven favor, where we will get rewards. Now, this new season will give players the ability to master powers of witchcraft. There will be 3 schools to learn and master. We have Eldritch, which is wield magic that harnesses destructive energy. Psych, which is wield defensive powers of the mind and spirit to create visions, focus your attacks, and induce madness in your enemies. And Growth and Decay, which we will wield living magic that both heals and harms, boosting life and resource. Now, these incantations can create horrific diseases and disruptions. To earn these powers, you must hunt down the head and return it to earn Restless Rot. Now you can then upgrade the altars underneath the Tree of Whispers to unlock the new witchcraft powers, as you see on the screen right there. And the higher the difficulty tier, the more Restless Rot you can earn. And you can also unlock what's called Lost Powers, which you will need a Forgotten Altar. And these altars are elusive, so you'll need to keep an eye out for them within random dungeons throughout Sanctuary. So I wanted to go over the different powers that you'll see. Some of these are going to sound really, really fun. And Morgan, I want you to take a list down as I'm going through them. Or a mental
What?
one, however you want to do it.
I wasn't prepared for writing.
Because I have a question for you afterwards, all right?
What am I taking a list of?
Any that look good to you.
Okay.
Okay. She's like, all right, I get it. All right, so let's start with the Eldritch powers. Okay, so first up are what are going to be called Fire Bat Servants. They are a deadly swarm of fire bats that swarm enemies every 3 seconds, inflicting 20% total fire damage over 1 total attack. There's also Abyssal Renaissance, which is every 250 resource spent, you will release an explosion dealing 400% shadow damage. Each explosion triggered within 10 seconds of the last increases the size and damage by 130%, and you can stack this up to 3 times. Wave of Woe. Release a Wave of Woe when damaging an enemy when your skills with your skills. The Wave of Woe deals an additional X amount of damage for Shadow and echoes this damage to all nearby enemies of the same type. There's also Purging Touch. Eldritch effects are increased by an X amount of damage against the Head Rotten. Shaken Soul. Eldritch effects apply vulnerable to enemies for X amount of seconds. And this is all based on the X's are based on how, like, what tier they're at on the leveling. So that's why I can't give you an exact number on these, just so you guys know. Hex of Flames. During your lucky hit, you'll have up to an X amount of chance to apply a Hex of Flames. Now, this Hex of Flames deals 40% additional fire damage each time you deal damage to the target. And then lastly is what's called a Doom Orb. It's an ominous orb of pure eldritch energy that circles you, damaging an enemy it touches for 400% fire damage. The Doom Orb may launch itself at distance enemies before it comes back and returns to you. Now, if those sound great, mark down which ones you like and keep that in mind for when we get to Tuesday. If those don't sound great, I have another pair of powers for you. They're called Psych Powers. So in Psych Powers, we have Lifelink, which you can automatically link your life force with up to 3 nearby enemies. For an X amount of damage you take, it is shared with the linked targets as physical damage. Now, you cannot life link to enemy players. So if you're in PvP in the world, you can't do that, but if you're PvE, totally fine. Hex of Shattering. Damage done by your witchcraft effects afflicts enemies with Hex of Shattering, causing them to deal X reduced damage for 5 seconds. Aura of Misfortune. Enemies nearby, you have an X amount of chance for those attacks to be interrupted, but it does not work on bosses. So if you're thinking, great, I want this one, it won't work on the bosses. Aura of Laminate. When you first strike an enemy, it is afflicted with an aura of laminate that slows it, and then other nearby enemies by 70%. Each enemy inside the aura, you gain 3+ primary resource each second. Now, if the initial enemy dies, that aura is then passed on to another nearby enemy, retaining the duration, and it lasts for a set amount of time. Vengeful Spirit. Every 19 seconds, a Vengeful Spirit servant will appear for X amount of seconds. While it is active, it will damage. While active, all damage that is taken is instead taken by the spirit, and then that servant deals 750% damage. And then there is Twilight Warding. Every so often, you gain a barrier for 5 seconds, absorbing 100 damage. So take down what you think you like on this one. And if those still don't tickle your fancy, no worries. I have the growth and decay powers. So let's start with the Poison Frog Servant. You will summon a Poison Frog Servant that attacks and poisons enemies for 150% damage over 3 seconds. On death, the frog will then explode violently, dealing X poison to instantly damage to any nearby enemies. This explosion will always critically strike. There is Soul Harvest. You can feed upon the life force of nearby enemies whenever you use a skill with a cooldown, increasing your primary stat by 3% per monster for an X amount of seconds. Hex of Whispers. Dealing damage to an enemy afflicts them with Hex of Whispers that deals X shadow damage the next time damage is dealt. Afterwards, the Hex will jump to another enemy up to a maximum of 6 times. It may only be applied once every 5 seconds. Decay Augmentation. Your witchcraft effects deal an X amount of damage dealt over 5 seconds. The damage type is based on your class. Grow. After casting an ultimate skill, your servant, minions, and companions are empowered with dark magic. They will grow larger in size and deal an X amount of bonus damage. That lasts for 15 seconds. And then there will be Aura of Siphoning, where you will conjure an Aura of Decay that deals 80% poison damage to enemies every second. And lastly, Cycle, which is dealing any damage with your skills, has a 15% chance to grow a flower from the ground. Now, the flower deals X amount of poison damage to any enemy that is nearby for over 5 seconds. But if there is an ally nearby, the flower will instead heal for 6% maximum life. The flowers will wither away after use, and then they'll appear again. So out of all of those, you then have what's called lost powers. And there's a lot of powers in this going around, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk about these for a little bit. There is going to be Breath of the Coven, where you're dealing damage or applying a crowd control effect with any of your witchcraft effects, increasing your attack speed by X amount for 10 seconds. Witchcraft effects are Eldritch, your Psych, and Growth and Decay. Hex specialization increases the potency of your hex effects by X amount of amount. Your aura specialization is the size of your aura effects are increased by an X amount. And then if you don't like those, you can always get yourself a Piranha Nado. It is literally a tornado of piranhas that pulls in enemies, dealing an X amount of physical damage over 12 seconds to help complement your witchcraft powers. There are also powerful cult gems that you can craft that provide additional affixes. Okay, so that was all of the powers. And with this new season means only one thing. There's going to be a new season journey and battle pass rewards. So here's a sneak peek of the horse you get if you buy into the battle pass and finish it. It's actually really cool. I think it looks incredible. And that's not all, guys. There is also the season journey, which unlocks chapters in the game. And by completing the season journey, you will get this little guy. This is Dorian. He's the Raven, and he is the first in-game avian pet for Diablo. And he'll fly around with you and collect all the gold and all the other stuff that all the pets collect. Now, besides all the new stuff coming to the season, there will also be a lot of quality of life stuff the devs will be adding to. So I have mentioned this before on the show, but just to recap, we're going to get the Armory, which will help you save and swap builds without having to create the same class several times over, and updates to the class quests, and the Greater Aphex. Now, this new season is set to drop on Tuesday, and I'm greatly looking forward to diving into this. I cannot wait. Plus, I know Morgan you'll be joining me and maybe some other people too. I'm so excited. So you got your notes. I know you do. And I know everybody else out there too does. So is there any particular class you might be leaning towards? And which witchcraft powers are you interested in?
Well, I'm definitely torn between Psych and Growth and Decay.
Okay.
Those would
Is there
be
any of them that in there though that looked good to you? Now,
yeah.
remember, it's you don't get them like you get them all, but you get to use I think from what I saw in the videos that they showed, it looks like you get to use like 2 of them at the same time.
Gotcha.
So you can intermix them.
Well, what I have from the ones that I liked from Psych is Lifelink, Aura of Lament, and Vengeful Spirit. And then from Growth and Decay, I liked Poison Frog Servant, Hex of Whispers, and The Cycle.
Nice. Those are some good ones. I've been kind of eyeing up Poison Frog because I thought that would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Makes
Love
me think of
Vengeful
Naruto.
Spirit. Yeah. And then yeah, the Vengeful Spirit looks really good. I also like the Fire Bats.
That's
They
a
look
good
really
one.
fun. Yeah. So there's a lot to choose from, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Is there any class that you want to start diving into that you think you're gonna start with? Because I know this will be your first time
I don't
in this
even know.
realm of Diablo.
Yeah, I don't even know. I gotta, I guess, take a look. Like, here, hold on. Let me pull up the list.
There'll only be one class that you can't play
Which
because
one's
you
that
won't
one?
you won't be able to play Spiritborn because you
Oh,
don't
that's
have
fine.
because you're only doing base.
So I typically, like, realistically, I'm between 3 of them,
Okay.
which would be. Sorry, I'm double checking. Probably between Druid, Rogue, or Sorcerer.
Okay. I mean, you have a background in Diablo, so I'm not too concerned. I liked Druid when I played Druid, I played Rogue. I haven't played Rogue, but I played Druid and I played Sorcerer. And
I
they made some
think-
tweaks to Rogue, so
I think I played Druid when the test was out for Diablo 4. I think that was when I did in the test, at least. But
okay. They've made a lot of changes to Druid. Druid kind of went through some fun tweaks and everything, and then same with Necromancer. So if you're thinking like a companion type build, they're a lot of fun to do. But if you're thinking more like you just want to do like lightning and kind of earthy type things, you know, then yeah, Druid would be really fun.
Nice. Man. Well, you brought up necromancers. Do you want to talk about more about like weird death stuff?
Yeah, let's talk more about weird death stuff. What do you got?
So I actually have a thing about the So firstly, developer Rebel Wolves hosted a video game reveal on Monday, January 13th.
Which, by the way, was like how long?
So it was actually only an hour for the reveal, but I was so confused tonight because I ended up watching it, guys. Again, I'm like, we missed a lot. It's been going for 3 hours already. After I was able to go back, obviously, because it was live stream, I can't scrub back and see what the heck was going on. They had I was really surprised, a 3-hour like, starting soon kind of thing.
Right.
And
yeah,
which they were
playing.
They were playing the music from their game like the entire time, which is really cool. The music at first, I just want to say, is gorgeous, and they ended up having actual live performances in between their segments for transitioning and whatnot. That was really cool. But yeah, so this video game reveal happened Monday, January 13th, and it was of their game in active development that has had a lot of buzz going around recently. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what game this is and what it's all about. From the co-creators of The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, and Cyberpunk 2077 comes Rebel Wolves' first chapter of their brand new role-playing saga, The Blood of Dawnwalker. Taking place in a medieval 14th century, bloody conflicts sweep the lands, and the Black Death comes for the survivors. In the wake of the disaster claiming thousands of lives, The decimated human population struggles for survival. It's a moment of weakness, and that's all the vampires needed. They came walking out of the shadows and claiming what they've been denied for centuries: freedom and the power that comes with it. In the game, you play as Cohen, a young man who has been turned into a Dawnwalker, human during the day and vampire by night, but never fully one or the other, something in between. In this AAA dark fantasy RPG, you will fight for your humanity or embrace the cursed powers to save your family. But the question is your soul worth the lives of those you love? In this narrative sandbox video game, you get to build your own experience and shape your own story. Your path is your choosing, your choices define your story, and gameplay, which lends to immense replayability. You'll have to wait a little longer before we see gameplay. Rebel Wolf says there will be another big reveal coming in the summer of 2025. The devs say this game will be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S, but there's no release date just yet. Which path will you choose? All right, so everybody, that is the look at the Blood of Dawnwalker, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm hyped. I want this game.
We were talking in between as we were watching it, and some of the stuff that I was telling the Morgan was, wait, but is it more like, because we know that's from the developers of The Witcher 3, so is it going to be very similar to the feel of The Witcher, or because some of the aspects felt very Assassin's Creed like, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of curious. I want to know what the gameplay is. I also want to know what happens to the little girl, like I know. Like in the trailer, you see she drinks the blood and stuff like that, and I'm like, what happens to the girl?
Yeah, so what they announced in the trailer is that she is not turned into a vampire.
Oh, okay.
Because so in the trailer they end up basically the leader of the vampire says that, I am life, and so with his blood he can give life force, he can heal people with it. So he just heals her of the plague, of the Black Death.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what I would assume is she's pretty young, and probably not a physical interest of getting stuff done, where her brother, he's probably in his 20s, he's very physically sound, he's like, yeah, this man can work for me. So he transitions him into what is a Dawnwalker. He is not human, he is not fully vampire. He's kind of in this awkward middle phase. So he's kind of human during the day, but almost, I don't want to say superhuman, but definitely is a little bit more skilled, if we will, than and then he can tap into more of his vampiric abilities at night. So I'm very curious to see how this will play. I could see it going either way. It could be more Assassin's Creed like, it could be more Witcher like. I hope it's actually kind of a fun combo of both. But it's really, really exciting because they're really wanting to, they're the developers of Rebel Wolves are really excited to explore and utilizing the day and night cycles in games, because it's one they even said during the talk between the two lead developers and everything, that that's one thing that's kind of not a big deal in video games. Oh, it turned night, no big deal, and then it transitions to day. At night, more creatures come out. It is said that there are creatures, due to the vampires being powerful, they've unlocked new areas, or because of their boldness, other creatures are now coming out of the shadows as well. And you saw a quick clip of him fighting some crazy fucking thing. So
right.
It's interesting. So at night is when more of the other creatures of legends that are now becoming reality are kind of, well, you'll have to fight. But it's very interesting because I mentioned in the video that this is a sandbox game, but it actually is not a sandbox in terms of gameplay freedom, which is what sandbox means. It's actually a narrative sandbox. So you have a lot of narrative freedom in this. They want to keep RPG players invested in the story and at the edge of their seat and not distracted by side quests. You will have a main quest technically, but it's not going to be a main quest that tells you what you need to go do next. You make your decisions. You actively roleplay and develop your relationships with people. So that means there's a lot of replayability. If you beat the story and you didn't befriend this person, made them an enemy, you can go back, let's make them a friend instead of an enemy this time around and see how that changes. Because they said there
Oh,
could be a lot of changes to it. They said that the no two playthroughs will be identical, and each player will really be able to make their own choices and receive their own personal game experience off of the choices they make. So it
so
almost
very
kind of like
similar.
brings like an
Like,
interesting bit of like visual novels, if you will,
mhm.
how it's very role play, very choice based. So yeah, I'm very, very curious to see how that's gonna play out. And I think that's why I'm so excited about this game is I'm such a story driven person. I love good story. I love good narrative. And that makes me excited to be able to like mess around with it. They've pulled in
Yeah,
a lot of Romanian influence because like there's
that's cool.
with the stories of like Dracula and then Nosferatu, that's all very Romanian and German esque.
Mhm.
Uh, we have like the trailer that we actually watch actually serves as the whole intro of the game. So like with the sister and healing, that's actually the entire intro of the game. It's not even like a
That's
special
cool.
trailer. Like that is how the game starts.
Oh, that's cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
So I thought that was really unique. It is definitely meant to be in the medieval era. Um,
Do I get to dress up my person? Because I love dressing up my person.
maybe we'll see. Maybe it's off of like
I don't
armor and
know what
stuff.
it is about outfits in games, but I love outfits in games. Like
um,
ever since developers were like, "Oh yeah, we made this so that you could change your character and how they look," I'm like, "Let's go."
yeah. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff for anybody who wants to like know, oh well, how does he not become a full vampire? How's that a thing? Um, it's interesting. He actually, I guess, was working in the mines and got silver poisoning. The character did,
Oh,
Cohen, and the silver poisoning that has actually keeps him from becoming a full vampire. It kind of like helps keep it at bay a bit.
that's
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So there's a lot of interesting things because they take a lot of like how do I put it? They take a lot of like inspiration from folklore. They even should have said like this is a completely original game, but it's really rooted and inspired by folklore myths and legends. So
Okay.
you're gonna see vampires and probably other mythical folklore creatures, but they're gonna have their twists on them to fit in their original world.
Mhm.
Um, but it's gonna be really cool to see what they pull out.
It just sucks though that it's single player.
I
I will say that.
know.
I will say that because that would be really cool to be able to roam with somebody. Like you're a day
Mm-hmm.
walker with somebody else who's a day walker, and you know. But I get it. I mean, not every game can be multiplayer out
Yeah.
there,
There is
and
one.
sometimes single player games do become multiplayer games later,
Yeah,
like where they
yeah.
make them into multiplayer games. So
And this isn't just a one and done game. This is actually a saga. So there's at the very least meant to be 3 games. This
oh,
is just
that's
the
really fun.
beginning of Cohen's story, it sounds like. Who knows, maybe in a later game as the sister gets older, maybe we get more with the sister. Maybe she ends up becoming more important, has more of a development. But a little thing that I wanted to tell you about. So
Mhm.
there's a couple different things that's really interesting.
There's
Um
spiders in the game.
I haven't seen any,
You
but
don't know that yet.
where is it? The oh yeah, the
Can't
magic.
buy it. There's a spider in the game.
So the during the game the reveal, they talked a
Yeah,
lot about like some of the mechanics of how it's going to kind of play because they don't have gameplay ready to show yet. So
right.
like the magic is actually going to be more serious and closer to like supernatural phenomenon
Oh,
compared to like
cool.
actual traditional spellcasting seen in video games. So I thought that was really cool. Um, you also will have an interesting, kind of almost like ticking time bomb, if you will, called Blood Hunger. Though you are not fully vampire, you still have a crave and you do need blood. So
Right.
this fuels your abilities. However, if you don't feed, you could lose control. So you could literally be like maybe talking to your sister or going and like in just a NPC moment. And if your blood hunger is low enough, it could actually force you into a feeding frenzy and just destroy what you were setting up. Like it is very much you need to like make sure you were taking care and watching that because and I like it, though like, people are like that's bullshit. You know, they people may not like that. I love this detail because it's things that we see in movies and books and everything
Yeah.
else. Like vampires, like will have a hard time. Like you get a finger cut. Oh no, are they gonna go and go into a feeding frenzy?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but and in this kind of moment, it's just one of those things where it's like you could risk it talking to him before feeding, but
True.
you don't know what's gonna happen. You could get triggered at any time, and the game isn't just like, oh, you're in conversation mode. Everything else that's going on about your abilities and situations pause for this like moment with the NPC. No, it's very much kind of like this ongoing, like kind of everything is
Like
moving.
it's like you start sweating, like you're sitting there, like talking, like you start sweat, like like when somebody gets
Yeah,
anxiety
yeah,
coming
that
up, and they're
that's
like,
that's what
"Oh
I
my
would
god."
assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think it's a very cool mechanic to see, like, because there's usually a lot of like when you walk up to the NPC, like your abilities, cooldowns, or whatever, kind of like don't matter because you go
Mhm.
into like the NPC, like part of the UI of the game. And in this
Right.
case, it doesn't stop. Everything is happening at once, and
That's cool.
everything can impact everything, and like, then impacts your sandbox narrative that this game is.
Right. And I think that's smart. It kind of reminds me of how Mass Effect did theirs. Like, yeah, it's playability, but if you choose
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
angles, like you can still get back to that certain angle in a way,
absolutely.
but or like when games go, so and so will remember this. Like it always cracks me up when you see that, but I see like how those things are fun. And I always
Mm-hmm.
find those to be fascinating because it's part of video gaming. Like you're either gonna really like a narrative or you're not. Like you're either going to be
Yeah.
narrative driven or you're going to be something else driven. So it just depends. And yeah, I think this will be a good one. And it's been climbing up the social media
Oh
platform
my goodness.
ladder like
I'm
crazy.
so excited for this. It looks fantastic. Like I mentioned before, like there will be a gameplay reveal in the summer of 2025. Uh, m- that what we saw does not have gameplay, but it is actively things that are already made and done in the engine that they're using. There are going to be on
Do you
like
know what
your
engine they're using? Do you know? Is it 5?
let me double check what engine is.
I would think they would be using 5. It looked very 5-ish.
I think I want to say it's 5, but I just what engine is Donald Blombucker using? Yeah, Unreal Engine 5.
Okay, that's what I thought cuz it looked like Unreal Engine 5
Yeah.
type graphics.
So yeah, it's really cool because there will be more. It's what's nice is we already know this game, like you're buckling up for a saga. There's going to be more unfolded in future titles. They did
Mhm.
say this is a single player experience, and we guarantee that there will be no microtransactions in game.
Oh, thank
The
goodness.
release date is to be
Sorry, Len.
determined. The release date is to be determined, but they did say, like in general, like because one of the people leading the reveal was one of their community social media managers. They will be very active on social media, giving people looks into the game and what to expect, and just constantly things as the game develops more and more. They want to share more and more and get people as excited as they are.
That's cool. That is cool. I
So
like
yeah,
when they're more active.
me too.
But I do have some good news. And
Yay.
yeah, and it might be a really great news too. Like we said, we're going to be waiting for this game to come out and everything, but you might be waiting for some notable games to come on PlayStation 5 this year, too. So, according to the Game Post, there are several games that could be making an appearance in the PlayStation Store. So, here's what is rumored to be showing up this year: Age of Mythology, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and Halo, the Master Chief Collection. So, with this being a possibility to make it, it makes you kind of wonder if exclusive PlayStation games will start popping up in the Xbox Store or Game Pass.
I don't know if that's gonna happen yet. It
Well,
could
I'm
though.
just saying,
That could be the deal they brokered.
if we're gonna do a deal here,
Yeah,
I
they
would
could
be
have been a
totally
trade
down to
off.
be like, I'll take God of War.
Hmm.
Like I haven't finished it and I don't really want to break out my PlayStation 4, but I'll play it on, Xbox Game Pass if I
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
So I just think if there's a good deal and we can start doing that, I think that's just going to help. We got to start having the consoles. Like, yes, I know the console war is a big thing, but I feel like if you get the consoles start working together, we're going to see things kind of be more beneficial for them in the long
Sure.
run.
Sure. Well,
But we got more.
even more big new features. So there is a big feature coming to the Pokemon TCG Pocket game. And what is that? That is trading. So the developers released details on how the new trade feature will work. Trades can be done between friends. Trades can be done with cards of some rarity. Sorry, my brain. all of the,
My brain.
all the time. All the time of the trade features launch. Certain cards from getting genetic apex and mythical island booster packs will be able to be traded. So cards with a rarity of 1 to 4 diamond and 1 star can also be traded. Items can be consumed in order to be able to
It must
trade.
be consumed. Yeah.
Sorry, items must be consumed in order to trade. The developers also said they'll be adding the next booster packs as well. So all of this will be coming out actually later this month, guys. So probably in the next week or two, which
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
say
cool.
it's got to be
That's
pretty
fun.
quick.
So yeah, it's very nice to see. Like it's interesting watching their Twitter as well, or their X. Sorry, because
Nah, it's still Twitter.
the person who's running it is like very like kind and very much like thank
Hello.
you so much. Like they honestly thank everybody constantly, and it's really cute. So no, this is nice to see. You know, this is good. This is good news. Everybody's like, I want to be able to trade. I'm like, I have stacked up. I have a couple like Gyarados and stuff that are really cool. I'm like, I'll take that Aerodactyl from you, so I don't have to keep looking for it or something. You know, like
Yeah.
there's stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think this will be a good feature. It's been listed for a while that they want
Mm-hmm.
to add it, so that's really great. And then on top of that, this game hasn't even been out a year.
Yeah, I know. That's wild. Hasn't even
It's
been out
just
6 months.
No. And it's been getting so much hype and so much play, which is really good. I actually have to do my booster packs today. I haven't done them yet. My login bonuses. Get those all done.
I have to do mine yet today as well.
See? We got things we got to do, people.
Yeah. Well, that's something you can do here in just a moment, KP, because we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, everybody, we have quite a few video games to show you. We have a couple reviews, a nice highlight to show you. So, yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly to show you some deep dives into some video games.
Don't go anywhere or
Yeah.
go get
So,
a drink.
while
or
you're
potty
sitting
break.
there, I guess you can open your booster packs.
Tell us about them. Tell us what you
Yes.
got.
Yes. All right. We'll be back soon, guys.
Time to suit up and let's clean up those rats. Hey there, this is Morgan and KP, and we're taking our first look at Infestation Origins. It was released by Nightmare Forge Games on November 15th. It's a co-op horror game in which you're exterminators treating a sinister infestation caused by twisted versions of classic characters and urban legends. Don't worry, you only scream for a bit as you try and exterminate Mickey Mouse and his fellow rat friends. Morgan and I debuted this game on Techries and later streamed it on our personal Twitch channels, where we met up with Shirtless Dan, Grimner Allfather, and Latin Legacy NY. But first, Morgan will take us through the game's tutorial.
As for the tutorial, it was pretty simple and got the job done. It takes you through a small warehouse area, explaining what everything is in your control room, the computer, and how to watch the cameras, the map, what the icons on the map mean, and even how to place markers. From there you grab your gun and have to go clear a very minor infestation to unlock the valve room you need to connect so the pesticide can be sprayed in the room and clear the rest of the nest out. Again, the tutorial was simple and very straightforward, so I think it did well teaching you the basic mechanics of the game. One thing I really liked about the building we were in for this tutorial is it seems to be our company HQ. As we moved through the place, we saw glass cases of taxidermy creatures that we have done pest control for, and some look really messed up. Maybe these will be future enemies we can hunt? I thought that was some cool lore. Makes you feel like we're the supernatural pest fighters. As for the overall gameplay of Infestation Origins, it reminds me a lot of Phasmophobia. Instead of finding the ghost, you have to clear out rooms of infestation while trying to avoid and survive the creature hunting you. Much like Phasmo, once in a game lobby, to get a match going, you need to select a job. There are different jobs listed on a board to select from, which rate from easy difficulty, these are colored green, to extreme difficulty, where these are colored red. Each job listing does have a rating on what to expect from respawn rates, infestation numbers, and more. I find the maps, however, to be really big and even difficult for the low-level jobs, especially for only a single player, so playing with friends is the best option in my opinion. But the developers do plan to fix this in a future update.
The design is very simple, with the rats and the classic use of Steamboat Willie, aka Mickey Mouse. The developer Nightmare Forge Games really thought about the look of their game. They added a lot of details to the suits, the guns, and the traps. As for the items inside the game, such as the warehouse, the overall look could use a little more polish, but it is a good start to an early access game. But overall, the art design doesn't throw the game off, and the end sequence when you kill Mickey Mouse is fun to watch. One change I wish would happen is if two people are left in your party, that those two would get to be in the cutscene and not just look like player 1 and 2. Or if they would let all the players, depending on how many are on your team, get to be part of the cutscene, even if they are just there to watch Mickey Mouse burn.
The music of this game has the expected horror atmospheric music, which works great. There is a droning type atmospheric sound that lends itself psychologically to the intensity of the game. This audio also reminded me a lot of Phasmophobia, but it doesn't have that sound deprivation feeling that Phasmo does. Lastly, the sound effects of this game are really good, from the chittering of the rats to the loud, angry, and ominous roars of Steamboat Willie himself. The sound effects definitely help you feel properly immersed.
Overall, the game has a lot of potential to it, but we only played Episode 1, which was surrounded around Willie. Episode 2 is all about Mothman, which will be interesting to take on when we jump back into the game. The developer just released the following updates: the ability to carry more than just one primary objective item, a more consolidated and less maze-like warehouse for Episode 1, and making unique rooms in the warehouse for easier distinction. Morgan and I can't wait to see who else gets added to the game episodes. We will continue to keep an eye on this game as it develops. This is our first look at Infestation Origins.
All right, everybody. That is your look at Infestation Origins. But we've played the update.
Yeah.
Because it's officially out now.
Yeah, I was going to say that was before the update. So just a disclaimer on that one. It is before and not everything that they've changed. But yeah, like
Which that
there's
video's coming soon, guys.
I know. There's so much, like, as we were watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot that they took and did this or that. You know, Morgan and I were talking behind the scenes, and there's just so much that they've changed to it. But I will say the one thing that is very fascinating now is because remember we did Mothman too, and
Yes.
Mothman map
I
is
love
massive.
Mothman. Mothman, what's nice about like their map though is like so like the new map for Willy is smaller, which
Right.
actually is so much better. The Mothman map is massive, but
Mhm.
in a weird way, it didn't feel weird. It didn't feel difficult to navigate. I actually had a way easier time navigating and getting around getting our stuff done on the massive Mothman one compared to like the OG, the original Willy one.
So the only thing I'd have with an issue of Mothman is because it is so dark.
Hmm.
Running into trees. Like I would run into a tree and I'd be
That's
like,
true.
"Ugh, damn tree in my way again."
There's a couple trees where it looks like there's a gap where you could run through and you can't. So
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. So I think some of the lighting needs to be tweaked just a bit, just to make it a
Mhm.
little bit easier. Or they need to like figure a way to maybe move the trees in a way so that it makes sense. So it's like it's a pathway so you know where you're going. And you know, kind of like confine us a little bit more. I don't
Sure.
know. There's just some tweaks that need to be made to that
I
map.
love
And
the zip lines though on that map.
oh yeah, no, the zip lines are great, but I wish you could have more than one, one person on it. Because
Yeah.
like that's kind of like Mothman's coming. Sorry, Ramp, you're stuck back there, and I can't help you because I'm on the zip line, and Morgan can't zip back. You know, it kind of makes like that whole thing kind of feel like,
I
you're
mean,
kind of fucked.
what's funny is that is pretty realistic though. They only usually on short zip lines like that, they usually only send them one at a time.
Right, right.
So I guess at least good
Or
job
at
for
least speed
realism.
up that animation a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's got to be. It's got to be something.
Or
where
maybe
it's
that's
something.
that's why they don't. That's maybe the way it is. The way it is. The way that it is for those anxiety moments.
Maybe. But I will say though, looking at Willie's, what they did, I do like how they put it all together. It was the changing of the rooms. The rooms definitely look way better than what they did before.
Being able to carry both a fuse and a wheel at the same time, game changer.
Yeah. Game changer. And the only thing I don't like is I don't like that Willie can get into your control room now. I'm like,
Yeah, right?
no. And you guys will see this. It'll probably be part of like a blooper reel that Morgan maybe edits or I edit together, where it's nothing but just like my character getting attacked by
She
Willie
died so
over
many
and over
times.
and over and over.
If you were here, guys, with our review for Rampaging Asian, you've seen the death. You got to see the new map and how everything works. Yeah, she died a lot.
Willie
So
had a
much.
vendetta, and I was like, "What did I do to you, man?"
You were just too tasty.
I guess. But yeah, there will be another review coming out. We'll do a side-by-side comparison of this one with the new update and everything, and then really excited to see where they go with this game. I actually am in their Discord, so a lot of people talking about different types of things that they would like to see. Winnie the Pooh was one of the things that got brought up. I actually brought up Popeye the Sailor Man to them because I was like, that would be really cool. So we'll see what the next chapter is. I'm sure they're working hard on it and everything, trying to get it together. So.
That's exciting.
And fix bugs, you know, like
Yes.
fix them so that we're happy. But now that Willie is part of the public domain, you know, there's been a lot of
Quite a
usage of
few.
him. I know, and so I'm excited to show you guys this next video game that is also going to be taking place on Steamboat Willie Steamboat. I know that's said twice, but Willie Steamboat. So
Yeah.
Morgan, if you can.
Yeah, here's a look at that, guys.
Steamboat Willie went into public domain last year in January, and video game developers have already jumped on the opportunity. First, there was Infestation Origins, a game that puts a group of 4 friends in hazmat suits trying to take out the infestation. And now we have Steamboat Willie's Incident. This 3D horror survival game from Mascot Bro Studio will test your ability to escape without alerting Willie. Willie kidnapped you after going crazy from being locked up for over 95 years. When you awake, you find yourself stuck on Willie's steamboat surrounded by the sea. You will have to find clues, solve puzzles, and hide from Willie. You'll explore dimly lit corridors, navigate creaky decks, and experience the unsettling echoes of the past as you unravel the mystery behind the Steamboat Willie incident. This game will be available on Steam, but at this time, there is no release date.
All right, that is such an interesting take. I kind of like it's almost like this weird, you're stuck on the boat and you have to escape vibe that this has.
I love the fact that they're like, Mickey's gone crazy over 95 years. I'm like, damn, what the fuck happened to him? You know, he's been locked up. I'm like, okay. But I do like this game. This game is very interesting. I don't know if I'll personally play it, but I would love to watch somebody play it. Probably like,
Yeah.
you know, one of the many streamers that I do watch to play horror type games, or
This is-
maybe Anna play it. Who knows?
Sure, like this type of game is one of those games, like if I did get it and play it, it would probably be, I probably would never play it again after beating it once.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Is, you know, looking at it, it's kind of just like how I feel about it. Also, it's very like monochromatic, and you know, I don't know if that's something that that might also be a killer for me. Is like, though, like it fits the vibe of like the old school Steamboat Willie, makes sense. I understand why it is. That monochromatic vibe is maybe something that I don't stick with always, if that makes sense.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I think they wanted to make it more authentic to the cartoon, and I get that, and I think that's
Yeah, absolutely.
a great take on it. And I think we're going to see more things coming down the pipeline from using a Willie, Steamboat Willie, you know, and any of the other ones. Like, we've seen some stuff from Winnie the Pooh, who is also public domain access. So, and there's a really weird Winnie the Pooh game that's out there that I haven't shown you guys yet because I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. But yeah, Lahan says Steamboat Willie is going to take so many L's this year.
Steamboat Willie's gonna lose a lot for sure.
He is. I am curious how the puzzle factor works in the game, because of what they did with it. But yeah, this is really cool. This is the second one I've seen regarding using the image of Steamboat Willie. The thing is, though, in the trailer, you never see what he looks like. So I really don't know if they stuck with the actual animation form of him, or if they went more grotesque like they did in Infestation Origins. So we'll have to wait and see if somebody plays it, or maybe we'll just watch it, you know, like we'll watch another streamer playing it and be like, hey, we're just chilling here doing a watch party on you. Who knows? We'll figure it out.
That could be fun.
But you know,
Well.
enough of the horror kinds of things.
Can we get cozy?
Yeah, we can get cozy, but you know what? Maybe you want to make like a really weird, like grotesque Steamboat Willie.
I don't know if you can make that in this, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe you might maybe not perfect, but you might be able to make something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to take your imagination and put some things into it for possibly D&D, right?
Yeah, maybe for some D&D building stuff, but you know, it gets into some diorama building. So let's take a look at this next one for you guys. Have you ever wanted to make a cozy cottage or a massive medieval castle? Well, this diorama builder might be what you're looking for. Here's our first look at Tiny Glade from Pounce Light. In this cute game, you get to explore your creativity and gridless building. For this review, I tried out the demo, so not every building option was available, but there was enough to give it a good test, and I'll be honest, I want the full game. When you first load the game, it gives you a quick and easy tutorial on how the camera works. The tutorial was easy to follow with simple graphics to explain what to do. But let's talk about the gameplay. I found the game to be pretty self-explanatory. Learning to build was easy, and the UI of the game had arrows when I hovered over things that allowed me to adjust them, whether it was height, width, angle, and so on. The game is also really intuitive. When I place a path through a wall, it made an open archway. When I brought the path to a building, it made a door on the building. When I placed windows that were diagonal from each other, it placed a closed drawing line between them. I really like that added touch, and I hope those items it auto places for you is more customizable in the full version of the game. For example, I can change the color of the door, but not how the door itself looks. Another nice thing is that you can really customize the color of items on your build, the wall type, and even the stone type. According to the selection wheel, there is a lot more options in the full version of the game, and that's exciting to see. Lastly, I did find myself occasionally struggling to get the camera angle I wanted to work on my building, but honestly, that was just user error, as the more I played Tiny Glade, the more I got the hang of looking around and getting my desired angles. But speaking of angles, there's a photo mode. You can adjust the time of the day to your desired time, adjust what direction the sunlight comes from for shadow contrast, and then really customize how wide your focus zone is for your ideal photos that get saved to your computer so you can show off your designs. I really love this function. Now, the art style is really cute, to put it simply. It has that cozy atmosphere to it that lends to your whimsical creations. The lighting shift between night and day is beautiful, the god rays and light hits are gorgeous, and the transition is gradual and not an abrupt transition as we see in other video games. The soundtrack is also really cute. It definitely leans into that whimsical fantasy fairy tale vibe, and I think it suits that laid-back cozy feeling the developers want you to have. Overall, I'm getting the full game and building so many dioramas. This is something I can truly kick back and relax to, and it really gets my creative ideas flowing for wanting to build the cities, towns, and villages of my homebrew Dungeons & Dragons world. And hopefully, the devs will add even more designing assets to their launched version. But until then, this is your first look at Tiny Glade. And that's Tiny Glade, guys. I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
I like at the end how you're able to walk through it. And I like the end where you walk through and there's a little sheep with a bird.
I knew you would like that part.
It was like, that's really funny. But what would be really cool though is to, I know you're talking about using it for D&D campaigns and stuff like that to set worlds, but it would still be really cool also to create these kind of like fantasy hyper realistic in a way, right?
Yeah.
Dioramas, and then print them and make them into pieces of art that you have in your house.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
And that, like, for me, like, I have, for example, I've seen online, just like looking at photos and stuff, somebody has gone and made like full on Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings, so that Gondor, and it looks amazing.
Mhm.
And so thinking about stuff like that, like we kind of had like a tier setup version of like my players in my D&D campaign. They had a dwarven, like an abandoned dwarven stronghold that had mines and everything. And they have since expanded out around the land and are creating a city for people to eventually move into. So, and like it's been transformed through magic and everything else to be a full city, and it has like these elevation tiers going up to the mountain where their keep is, where they are, and it's really cool. And the one thing I'm working on drawing that map, because I use Incarnate to make like maps of my D&D world, and I can't use Incarnate to make really detailed city maps as well. This is just a different way of doing that,
Mhm.
and it's something like I could literally pull up the game when I'm with my D&D, like when I'm playing D&D, and if they're walking through areas, I could give them an actual visual on my computer, because I always have a monitor up that shows them stuff of like where they're walking and what it looks like in the world, to help
Yeah.
with like give more visual storytelling to part of it, to like part of my D&D campaign. More so
Right.
than what I could do with like that 2D version. Like I could like, because of the walking around bit, I can put them right on the street and let them look around.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish
Yeah.
hopefully they could do things like add dragons and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I
Yeah.
wish one thing is I did when I was walking around walk through the door. The door doesn't open anything, but you just kind of like go through it.
Oh, phase
And
through? Okay, cool.
yeah, you face through
Whee!
it and inside is just blank. It's just you just see the walls like there's nothing in there. I don't
Oh.
like right now there's no option in the demo so that would even
Mhm.
let me think that there is a possibility of decorating inside. I think it's just to build dioramas. A lot of dioramas you only do the exterior, you aren't doing interior. I would
Right.
love, even if it's like a DLC to buy one day, I would love to be able to also decorate the interiors for my days of like online role playing and everything. I did a lot of like massive, massive builds
Mhm.
where I did crazy interior designing, and interior design is one of my hobbies that I love to do. So I would love that aspect just to get even more crazy detail because then I can go and make just the keep for my
Oh,
players,
yeah, that'd be
and we
cool.
can go and like actually properly design and set up. This is what your guys' like mess hall looks like. This is the war room they have and everything like that. Would be really cool
Mhm.
to do.
Yeah, I think I mean, I went to try to look to see if I could find some more up like info regarding if they had anything of like a roadmap, and I didn't find a roadmap.
I
So
couldn't find anything either.
I know I was like, guys. So maybe they're trying to figure out a roadmap right now, and they just don't know what they want to do. Um,
Or maybe
so
this is just it.
way to look sad. I don't think this is it. I don't think so because it's been selling pretty well. I think they'll add more, but I don't know what that will consist of. Maybe
Sure.
it'll be
Sure.
different types of outside buildings. I don't know. But yeah. Um Definitely something to look into if you are big into map making or if you just like the ability to create things, you know?
Sure.
I
Sure.
think
Absolutely.
it's a great opportunity to check out. And it's not running kill things. You don't have things
It
trying to
is
murder
it
you.
was very honestly funny enough I built that in like 18 minutes.
Nice. That's not bad.
Yeah. But luckily, like I've done a lot of building stuff like that before. Not this is specific like this type of UI specifically, but just
Mhm.
because of like with D&D and role playing and stuff. So I might have jumped and figured like I thought the tools were very intuitive and easy to figure out. It may not be like that for somebody who hasn't done stuff like this as much as I have. Like if someone
Right.
who's new to this type of building aspect in a game, but I think it was really quick and easy to learn, and I did that quick little idea build in 18 minutes.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll add more different like design structures, walls, roofs,
Yeah, and
like
there's a
that
lot
kind of
more
stuff.
available in the like I only had like 4 or 5 samples.
Yeah.
There's an entire ring of like locks that
Ah,
if
but
you
you can't
have
tell what
it,
they are
no,
unless you have
sadly
the
you can't. But with
yeah, so it
the
makes me
full
wonder.
version, you'll have a lot more textures and colors and stuff to work with at least.
Do you know how much this game is right now? I don't
Fourteen
remember.
ninety nine.
14.99. All right. Well, if you guys want it, it's 14.99, or you can get it with the soundtrack for $20.
Yeah.
1978.
The
So
music is really cute. Well, I will say that.
check it out if you guys are interested. And any of the other games that we talked about today. But coming up, guys, we have a full list of upcoming releases. I'm really excited to share with you guys. I know Morgan is too. We did this last week. So you'll want to tune in for that. And we'll be right back. We're going to take a little break.
All right, everybody. So, we're back with more video games releasing next week from January 20th through January 26th. But, how many are releasing next week, KP?
Well, Morgan, I think there's 11. Oh, wait, no, wait. She lied. There's 10.
So it was supposed to be
Morgan's like 10.
Yes. Funny enough, there was supposed to be 11. There was 11 on the list, but when I did all the fact checking, they had their date wrong. And it's actually not coming out until April. So
gotcha. Okay, no worries. So there are 10 new video game titles that are coming out. So let's take a look at the titles. Starting with Eden, as I think is how we're going to pronounce this one, because we're not really sure. That sounds amazing. It's called Eden Frontline Survival. They do say that if you pronounce it and you're confident that it's true.
Yes.
This game is a defense RTS where you can move turrets at will, extract resources, upgrade technology, and defend against enemy swarms in a gripping space campaign. So you're going to hold the line, set up your turrets, and brace for screen-filling hordes on January 20th. Eden Frontline Survival will be available on PC, and there is currently a Steam demo available. Very nice. I do like a good oh god, what do they call these? Oh my god, tower defense. Thank you.
Yes.
Tower defense type game. My brain just went, what?
It went burp.
Burp. All right, and then coming up on PC on January 20th also is called Super Roboy. So let's delve into the world of Super Roboy. It's a hand-drawn Metrovanian, is a post-apocalyptic setting. In a post-apocalyptic setting, we're going to learn enemy skills, explore an interconnected world, battle mutants and robots, and uncover the emotional story of a young robot searching for his father. I will say that Super Roboy, the image, is not very helpful.
Yep. He is a cute robot.
You, Morgan. That is just like, man, they could have done a better job.
He's actually really cute. There is a cute robot. You can see it on the Steam page if you go to it.
They could have done better with their artwork.
Yeah. Next up, though, we do have releasing on January 21st is Somber Echoes. The game will be available for purchase on PC. In Somber Echoes, you hunt the monsters and solve the mysteries of the abandoned mothership floating in vast space to confront your twin sister and prevent her from unleashing a cosmic catastrophe. Because I can speak. In this dark fantasy Metroidvania, you must explore and find your way through the horrors and kill everything in your way. I do like the artwork on this one, though.
I do too, but it looks like she's going to get eaten. Ow.
Next, though, this one might be a little more cute and cozy. Next up, we have Popotinho's Adventures, releasing January 22nd on PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and the Switch. You guide Popotino safely back to his home as you run, hop, and double jump your way through side-scrolling platformer stages inspired by genre classics. You collect fruit to earn extra lives, grab hearts to replenish health, and more as you traverse 50 tricky landscapes from grasslands and forests to the dark of falling night.
Is he an egg?
I don't know. He kind of makes me think of Humpty Dumpty, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is he an egg?
Yeah.
What is he?
I don't know.
I don't either.
We're gonna just call him he's an egg. We're just gonna go with that.
Okay. Just thought it was funny. I was like, wow, it does look cute. I just don't know what he is.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Releasing on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on January 23rd is what's called Dreamcore. Now, you step into the surreal with Dreamcore, a body cam style psychological horror game that plunges you into the eerie beauty of liminal spaces. Unravel the mysteries of Dreamcore's non-linear worlds and uncover its hidden secrets. Can you discover what lies beneath the edge of reality? In that graphic, no.
Yeah, don't get me started. Owen,
Sorry. I'm
stop being a brat.
not-
All right.
I will say though, Liminal's interesting, but I don't think I could do it. I think I would probably get motion sickness and nauseous. So anything
Yeah,
like that
I
would
will
probably
say
make you
too,
wanna.
because is this the one that uses? Yeah, this is the one with the body cam.
Yeah.
It does have like the fisheye look,
Oh yeah.
so that can be a little warpy for some people.
Yeah. Okay, so also up next we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC Edition releasing on January 23rd. In Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the unknown journey continues. After escaping from the dystopian city of Midgar, Cloud and his friends set out on a journey across the planet. New adventures await in the vibrant and vast world in the standalone entry to the Final Fantasy Remake trilogy.
And this is the one
Very
that's
cool.
also coming out to on the Switch too, that I mentioned earlier in the show. Because
Nice.
there's this one specifically tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the 23rd is releasing on PC, but you will eventually be able to play this remake on the Switch as well.
Oh, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy always has really nice looking artwork though.
Yes, they do. It always looks really nice. But KP also coming out on January 23rd on the Switch is a game called Gravitators. This is an old school challenge and this is where old school challenge and style collide with modern advancements and mission design in Gravitators, a twin stick shooter that puts you in control of 4 different ships as you defend mankind against invasion. You will complete a vast array of mission types as you travel to Earth, the moon, asteroids, planets and exoplanets, the depths of outer space, and even black holes.
Kind of reminds me of asteroids.
Yeah. Next up, sticking in space, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We actually up next have a free PC game releasing
Ooh.
on January 23rd. This is Rocket Boots Mania Space Train. So this game is a 100% free endless runner with a twist. You're in full control. Rocket jump, wall run, and fly to rescue lost cargo on a speeding space train. Race through the galaxy or relax with the chill vibes of vast space vistas.
Wow, that sounds either intense or like the end part. I'm like, wait, but then I can relax and chill. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I don't know why they said that. This is literally their descriptions, guys. What the developers give us, but I don't know. Maybe they don't want you to feel like you're going to be anxiety ridden over it. I don't know.
Look into that one, especially with it being 100% free.
Yeah.
All right, so another throwback is coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and the Switch on January 23rd, and that is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles! Now, take back the Royal Palace. Royal Palace, I thought it was a typo. In this Fast and Furious lightsaber action game, you will have the power of the Force and your trusty lightsaber to help you ward off legions of battle droids, destroyer droids, assassins, and other creatures from Star Wars The Phantom Menace. All right.
I've played a lot of Star Wars games, and it's actually one I have not played. So
I've never seen this one. I'm not. I
never knew about this one. So I'm kind of down. I kind of want it. Not gonna lie, I'm a massive Star Wars person. So
yeah. I'd be interesting to see what the gameplay is like on it.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I'm
you know,
curious of
so,
that
like,
too, especially
some
because it's a remake.
yeah, and some of the Star Wars games, they get kind of, chonky.
Yeah, I will say this does have like they have the old school visuals on it too.
Yeah. Hmm. All right, so the last game coming out next week is on January 23rd. Coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S is Sin Duality, Echo of Ada. This is a PvPvE. Yeah, that's right. PvPvE. For those people who love those. I just like the ones where they go PvE and you take out the other P. Extraction shooter. I'm having a weird mood today. I'm sorry. Players are aided by an AI partner known as Magus, and they must survive against xenomorphic creatures and other players in the hunt for resources. Oh, I kind of like this one though. It's kind of cute.
Honestly, this is one of the ones I think from like when I've did my research to make these. I think you'd like this one actually. I really like the artwork on this one. It looks visually pretty nice. Um, so yeah,
She kind of looks like Diva from Overwatch.
I could
Like
see that.
Diva with her bunny. Yeah,
hmm
very
So
cute.
what I want to ask you
Oh,
is, out of all
which
of
art
these,
style would you like? No, I'm just kidding.
out of all of these 10, which one do you think you're at the moment just with that, like these brief like highlights? Which one do you think you're the most interested in?
Well, I do like a good tower defense game, so I would be interested in
Gravitators.
the Eden one because I thought that one was really
Oh
cool.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Eden.
No, you're good. Eden looked really nice. Just reading them. Uh, the last one wasn't too bad, but I just don't like PvP. I like PvE more.
Sure.
So I'm more like that. Like Sin Duality was pretty cool, but yeah, I think the PvP part would kind of throw me off a little bit.
That's fair.
That's what I got. What about you?
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how this remake of Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles runs. It's also one of the old school Star Wars games I've actually haven't played, so I'm definitely curious about it. So yeah, probably that one, but if I want to go off of anything else, I am kind of curious about the Sin Duality Echo of Ada, and I think there was maybe one other one, and Somber Echoes.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one too.
So yeah.
The train one's interesting, but I feel like my anxiety would be like
One way to find out, KP, it's free.
I know.
Oh man. Well, everybody, that's what we got for you.
Yeah, that's our show. Yeah. Go on. 138. Yeah, keeping it under 2.
So we do want to say though, for our next show, we're super excited for it because we're interviewing Nerd Holla. Many of you have seen her hopping in our chat. You've seen her in all of our other chats and also her live streaming. So you might have seen her on Twitch, either painting minis, hosting a D&D campaign, or playing video games. So tune in next week for our Inside the Streamer Studio segment with Nerd Holla. We're so excited to have her with us.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're just so everybody knows, we're playing, and we haven't done this one before, so we're playing golf with friends. It's gonna be nuts.
You aren't prepared for my competitive mode.
No,
I get unexpectedly competitive with golf with friends. So it is going to be a great
Morgan's gonna
show.
be over there like, hold on, I need to calculate out the exact degree and the exact power I need to make sure I get a hole in one. Also, the trajectory of how much it's gonna bounce off the side to make sure it goes into the hole.
Physics, man.
You're right.
But as always, we will have all the topics we discussed in our show topic section on our Discord. So if you're not in our Discord, go join it. What are you waiting for? Accept the rules. And yeah, then you'll be able to click on the links that we help source our stuff from and get maybe more details or not, It's cool. But
That's right.
also, before we go, we want to remind you to not, don't forget to check us out across all our social medias. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. So, make sure you go follow us.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you like what we're doing here, give us a heart. Follow us on, give us that love on Twitter. We're trying to grow, so help us out and hit the like and subscribe over on YouTube. Every like and subscribe just helps us reach out to more people to help us grow our following so that we can get bigger and do more things. Yeah.
Yeah. And as a little reminder, we do have that new merch store. And because we're celebrating its grand opening, you can use the code DACREW10 to get 10% off your order. And I will put that link in chat for you. So if you feel like you want to go buy some really cool, cozy merch, go for it, because we got some stuff.
That's right. But until next time, you guys, have a good one and keep processing.
Bye.